Hello my friends, this is Dwight from Ford's Glory 700 coming back at you with another video. And in this video I wanted to address a situation that occurred unfortunately in Yellowstone National Park. Apparently there was an individual who went camping at the park, and unfortunately he was mauled to death by a grizzly bear. Now, the medical examiner, I guess it's part of their job, did a thorough autopsy on the individual who is now deceased, and his findings were that the cause of death was COVID-19. Now, the mauling to death was simply a symptom, but the actual cause of death was COVID-19. Now, that's a story I just made up. And maybe it's not an appropriate thing to make up, because I'm sure there have been people, unfortunately, that have died in an American national park or somewhere around the world at the hands of a wild animal. But one thing that has never been done is the cause of death has not been attributed to something other than what it actually was. So if you're mauled to death by a bear, the cause of death is mauling by, the cause of death is that you were mauled by a bear. That was the cause of death, or the bleeding or what have you, as a consequence of that attack. But you're not going to hear that the primary cause of death was COVID-19. But we're living in a period right now post COVID-19 or COVID-19 where pretty much all deaths have been reclassified as COVID-19. So if a person commits suicide, the cause of death is COVID-19. If a person is eaten alive by a shark, the cause of death is COVID-19. If a person dies of a heart attack or lung cancer, the cause of death is COVID-19. What I'm getting at is that we're living in a period of time now where, because of this pandemic, all deaths are being reclassified as COVID-19 deaths. Although the cause of death is not primarily COVID, you can die with COVID or die with coronavirus and not necessarily die of it. But now, because of the agenda that they're pushing forward, and most citizens of this world, Canadians, Americans, Europeans, you name it, they're of the mindset that because this information has been provided by the mainstream media or the corporate media, that makes it true. But most of the information that we've received regarding the coronavirus death tends to leave out the fact that most of these people had multiple pre-existing conditions, and that those conditions were the primary cause of death. But a lot of physicians in the healthcare field have been given instructions that if that person has been tested positive with having COVID-19, that regardless of the primary cause of death, you got to mark down on the death certificate that that individual died from COVID-19 versus with COVID-19. This is the type of deceptive practices that are being presented to the public. And of course, you and I are not aware of these things, but that information is available online through sources that are reputable. But if all you're getting is the information through the mainstream media constantly telling you that this particular virus is on a rampage and that it's killing people left, right, and center, and not knowing the details that most of these individuals had pre-existing conditions, multiple pre-existing conditions that they had prior to supposedly becoming infected with COVID-19. And even with that, you have to ask the question, we have this testing system, I believe it's called the PCR test, And a PCR test is not even testing specifically for the virus. It's testing for the genetic material that would presuppose that you've been exposed to a virus, which is not necessarily COVID or the coronavirus. Either way, do your homework. Please look into these matters. Don't simply take at face value the information that you're receiving through the mainstream media, because they have an agenda, and the coronavirus, COVID-19, is simply a smokescreen or a Trojan horse to distract you from the fact that they're in the process of implementing the New World Order. That's why they're doing away with the current world economic system, so they can implement the New World System, which will be cashless, which will require you and I to be electronically or digitally tattooed, which will also require us to give up much of the little freedoms that we have. We no longer live in a democracy or a republic. We're living under a totalitarian system whereby all our rights will be relinquished, and that we will be under the complete control of the state or the government for which we reside under. Anyways, do your homework. This is Dwight from For His Glory, wishing you all well. Take care. Goodbye.